Welcome to the DMVSTREAM.COM High School Game of the Week. We are live here in Chantilly, Virginia for tonight's matchup featuring the Wolverines of Woodgrove versus the Westfield Bulldogs. Hello, everybody. I'm Monica Moore alongside the head coach of the Annandale Adams, head coach Bill McGlisco. And, Coach, we've got a great game here tonight. This is a non-district matchup. We're heading into the end of the regular season, and both teams obviously have to be thinking a little bit about the postseason already.
They definitely are, but this is the right game to have because you can try some things out that you want to try when the games really count next week in the tournament. You can also try to improve your depth by putting in some guys that might not have got a lot of minutes earlier in the season. And you just get to stretch your legs against somebody that you don't really see too often. And on a night like this, Friday night, seniors, last home game for them, this should be a real nice time for Westfield and Woodgrove.
Let's go ahead and meet our players to watch for both of these two clubs, both of these two guys. Great stories and are going to be great momentum boosters for their team. Let's start with the visiting team, Woodgrove, and Tucker Coyle, the captain, who was out earlier in the season. He broke his leg playing football and played his first game last night and will be here for his team tonight too.
Yeah, and, he's definitely the guy that is really going to help Woodgrove, make that big push to keep getting back to the state tournament where they've been for the last 2 years. And it just couldn't be better timing for the coaching staff of Woodgrove.
And then on the other side of the field, another great story in number 27, Nick Linker had a life-threatening injury playing hockey earlier this year. He played his first game of the season against Chantilly last week. He scored a goal. The fans just happy to see him back on the field, but his recovery, Coach, has been quite amazing.
The doctors have said it was amazing. It's just a great tribute to the work ethic these Westfield kids have and the dedication they put forth for their teammates and for their community. And I'm just so pleased to see him out there, doing the long stick mid thing and really helping that defense get fine-tuned for the Concord District Tournament next week.
Let's talk about the keys to the game for both of these two teams. Coach, you've already talked about the fact that we should expect to see some different things tonight. The coaches might be working in some things they're thinking about for the playoffs, but the keys, first of all, for Woodgrove, they want to get their transition game going and they want to eliminate those mental mistakes. Yeah,
when you're in the penalty box and it's 6-on-5 or 6-on-4, it's going to be tough to keep momentum going. So if they can limit the fouls and make sure that they're not having unforced turnovers, they're going to be right there.
Now for Westfield on the other side of the field, they've had some heartbreaking losses this season, so they definitely want to play 4 full quarters, and it's senior night, so they want to build on that momentum.
They definitely do, and again, you want to build your depth. The tournaments and the regions are usually won by your midfielders. A lot of teams, if they only have 5 or 6 midfielders getting on the field, that's going to be tough in the fourth quarter in a big game in June. So to let a third or fourth midi line get out there tonight will do wonders for those guys if they're called on when the tournaments start.
I did have the opportunity to talk to both head coaches before tonight's matchup. Let's go ahead and take a listen to my interview earlier tonight with Woodgrove head coach Jeff Lewandowski. Coach, your team had a big win last night against Tuscarora. Can you talk about what you think your team did well and what you took away from that game?
We finally started playing loose. We played together, played as a team. Just let it all hang out. They played their game finally.
And the season is wrapping up. You're getting ready to head into the postseason. Are there specific things that you've been emphasizing in practice, getting ready for that?
We've just been putting it all together, taking the training wheels off. The first part of the season is developmental, getting everything installed, and now we're ready to roll.
Obviously, you've been working with this team a while now. What have you been most pleased with about this team so far this season?
Work ethic and leadership. They're doing really well. The seniors have stepped up. They're leading by example. They're working hard. They're in the weight room 4 days a week. Practices have been intense, tough, tenacious. So I'm really proud of the boys so far. I think we're going to make a good push here.
And can you talk a little bit about your goalkeeper, Ryan Reynolds?
What can I say? He's a freshman. He's even. He's never too high. He's never too low. He's in a tough spot. Being a freshman, you got to lead the defense as a goalie, and being a freshman sometimes that's tough with upperclassmen. He's done a really nice job so far. He really truly has developed as the season progressed.
Best of luck tonight. And I also had the opportunity to get to speak with Westfield head coach Phil Palazzotti before tonight's contest as well. Well, Coach, you guys are obviously coming off a tough loss to Chantilly last week. What are the things that you took away from that game and that you've been working on in practice?
Well, I think first and foremost, the first quarter we didn't play that great. We got down 5-0, and our guys continued to battle and fight through it. And we played pretty good lacrosse for the second, third, and fourth quarter. So we have to continue to do that going into this game. Past couple days in practice, I think we had really 2 good days of practice. We worked a little bit more on ground balls and moving the ball off of the ground ball. So we would get, a scoop, what we call scoop, pass, and then attack. So I think we just got to maintain that and then keep our energy and our effort up, and we'll be okay.
On offense, who are the guys some of the guys that we should expect big things out of tonight?
Well, one of the things that I think our unique situation is we don't really have a go-to stud type player. I think we spread the ball around really well. We attack at different angles, and we take what the defense has given us. And I think our kids have adopted and bought into that philosophy a little bit. That being said, there are obviously a couple kids that you can look to. I think number 3, Kevin Morissette, at the midfield, 31, Drew Magnuson, 19, Nick Magnuson, Scott Morissette, the midfielders. And then on attack, you got like a sophomore, Joe Cayer, number 1, Alston Cock, number 6, and then and then we'll rotate 3 more attackmen in. So we're going to rotate quite a few guys, and we'll see which one has the hot hand, and we'll go with them.
And Tucker Winfrey, I've seen him play a lot throughout his career. Can you talk a little bit about your goalkeeper and what he needs to do tonight?
Well, Tucker is coming off an all-district season last year, and he's been playing very well. I think he had 16 or 17 saves the other night, and it's something that we do have to, we kind of rely on him a little bit because we are starting 2 sophomores and a freshman in front of him at close defense. That being said, Tucker's not starting tonight for a team's rule violation, and we'll have Michael Overby, one of our sophomores, who'll be starting tonight. And Michael brings a little different perspective. He's a left-hander, and but he's a pretty good goalkeeper, and we feel comfortable with him in the cage. So,
well, best of luck tonight, Coach.
Thanks, I appreciate it. All right.
And now we'll listen in on the playing of the national anthem. Coach, we've already talked a little bit about it, but a special night here tonight for Westfield. These seniors, 14 listed on the roster, having their last home game here for the Westfield Bulldogs. So lots of festivities going on prior to the game.
Yeah, and the seniors, they wanna represent for sure. But the big thing is there's going to be a lot of underclassmen playing on the field for Westfield tonight. Their defense or long sticks are going to be 2 sophomores and the freshman. So, the experienced attack of Woodgrove, it'll be interesting to see how they respond. You and I have seen some sophomores and freshmen step up on the defensive end, and I'd expect nothing less from Westfield tonight.
One big story for Westfield, you already heard Coach Palazzotti talk a little bit about this in his pregame interview, that Tucker Winfrey, the very well-known goalkeeper for Westfield, not starting tonight because he violated a team rule. Also, Jake Catchmark not starting and Nick Magnuson not starting, all 3 for an infraction with team rules. So I don't know how long it will be before we see them out on the field. But so just as you were saying, Coach, younger players are going to have to step up.
And I bet it'll probably just be a quarter. You got to do that when you're a coach. You can't sacrifice even in big games like this for the total vision of the program. And if a kid did something he shouldn't have done, he's got to do the time. So they'll be back out there second quarter, and I have a feeling it'll still be pretty close at that point.
And 2 other seniors for Westfield that we will not see on the field playing tonight, Tyler Matthews and Colby Eller, both injured, both seniors, but here tonight to support their club. So,
yeah, but losing Eller is tough, but the fact that Lenker is back, that definitely makes a difference.
First face-off underway. Woodgrove with possession to start the game. Woodgrove winning the first face-off of the night. Kyle Riley.
And the coach really likes what Kyle Riley's doing. He spoke to me and said that they haven't had an effective face-off guy in their program since 2010 with a guy named Chris Daddio who's playing up at Syracuse. So that's a good start for them, but it's what you do after you win the draw to see what goes on.
Absolutely. So, of course, Jeff Lewandowski, the former head coach of Loudoun Valley, but in 2011 is the first save of the day made.
Yep, that's going to be huge for Michael Overby, starting when he probably didn't even know till this morning or maybe even game time. And to have that first shot be an easy save, big sigh of relief. Let's get it down to the offense and get this night started right.
Meanwhile, Westfield on offense trying to make something happen and test the goalkeeper, the freshman Ryan Reynolds in goal. But as we were talking about, of course, head coach Lewandowski was at Loudoun Valley, and that 2010 team of his went to the state final against Langley. That was a great team that did feature Chris Daddio amongst many other players. Now he's the head coach over at Woodgrove. Woodgrove only been in existence for 3 years now. And
they're making a name for themselves. It's a beautiful place. They hosted their first spring break tournament this year, and about 8 teams traveled out there and played 3 games over the break. Westfield was included in that. And, just the facilities they have, the fields, the space, and the support for the lacrosse community is tremendous.
So this is the first ever meeting of Westfield. Westfield, of course, one of the newer schools in the northern region. And then now we have Woodgrove as well, one of the newer schools in this area.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 2006 when Westfield opened. I believe that is correct.
I think that's right.
And, they got it going on. You get a school this big with this many students, you should be competitive from right out, and they sure have been. And not just lacrosse, all their sports.
Of course, one
nice
thing.
Look.
Nice
There
look
you go.
inside. Shot and score.
Kellen McCarthy.
Kellen McCarthy.
Shocker. And I'm being sarcastic. He is the man the last couple games. I think he had 5 goals the other night against Tuscarora. And, boy, he was certainly wide open on the crease. So good cut by him, and better that the feeder was able to see him and put it right where he wanted it so he could do something with it.
31st goal of the year for Kellen McCarthy.
Well, let's see now for this face-off. If you get the goal and you get the ball right back, that can really help out.
And once again, it's number 10, Kyle Riley.
That's the problem if you don't have catch mark. He's a strong little face-off guy too. But again, hopefully the defense clamps down. The game's within reach when the quarter ends, and when he gets back out there, the face-off situation might be a little different.
Woodgrove showing a little patience here. That was Sam Weber with possession. He'll hand off to Demoff.
That might be a white ball. Yes, it is. Good hustle by 14, Vinny Martinez. Man, that's not the easiest play to make. And he knew that he had an angle, and that's possession for your team. Probably not the best shot by number 9, Jeremy Kendall. I'm sure coach is going to say to him, "Hey, wait a little longer for the next one." So we'll see.
Coach, you've already talked about that youth that's on the defensive end of the ball for Westfield. One of those, of course, is Vinny Martinez, only a sophomore.
Yep, and that's a tough one there. You made a nice play on defense. You got possession, and a simple catch and throw isn't able to be made. But looks like they're setting up for an on-ride, aggressive ride. Woodgrove will probably throw back to their goalie and change sides of the field. But I guess they're not. That's a good little play.
Nice look ahead to Matt Sears, number 30. Sears with the shot.
Yep.
Goes long.
Yeah, and that's clear. Maybe Coach Lewandowski just said green light, go get the goals when you can against this goalie that's starting for the first time. Because those are 2 shots that, most coaches would not like their guys to be taking.
That could be the game plan for Woodgrove to pepper the goalkeeper. Overby, the sophomore, getting the start tonight. This is Sears once again, left side, another save.
Easy save, and that's good stuff, man. That's going to get the team fired up. I'm sure they're a little deflated that their main man's not between the pipes, but he's looked pretty good those last couple offensive sets.
Some sloppy play here by
There
Westfield. The Bulldogs coming up with possession.
Smart pulling it out. Take your time, sub your guys, and get a little offensive set. That was a great ground ball by Jin Yoon. Kind of the stuff that's not really noticed a lot by fans or by teammates. But I know as coaches, they love guys like that.
Up top, number 31, Drew Magnuson. He'll hand off.
Yeah, I like how Westfield is so spread. They have at least 15 to 20 yards between players, and that's a good thing to do to try to tire out a defense and create passing lanes when the D collapses.
Magnuson with
There
the
it is.
shot.
Easy save. That's not bad. You know, I don't know if well, I guess he's going to catch it. Yep, good hustle by Jeremy Kendall.
And a nice check by number 31 at Magnuson.
Easy save for Ryan Reynolds. Is that his name?
Yes.
The goalie. Easy save. He's got to be a little more careful. I know you want to push the transition and get that ball out immediately, but you can't throw it 5 yards in front of a guy and expect him to make the catch every time. But it worked out with the push call, and let's see what they got going. Again, it looks like they're going with a 2-2-2 look. Guys in the crease being active. There's that look again.
So I think you're exactly right that the players have the green light. That was McCarthy.
Yeah. That's at least their 5th or 6th shot, maybe not on cage, but 7th, according to our stat guy. And, man, that's unheard of at 5 minutes in a game. So they definitely are taking the chance while they can before Tucker gets back in there.
Woodgrove switching sides of the field. Now left side shot by number 4, Dimoff.
I don't know. I understand you want to get goals when you got the chance, but just ripping shots from 25 yards out, very slim odds those are going to go in. But if they do, that gets the sideline fired up. So, coach knows what he's doing. Westfield defense probably wants to extend a little bit, get on their hands a little more, make it a little more difficult for them to be doing whatever they want to do.
Not the best shot by Dimoff right there. That one goes wide as well, but Woodgrove maintaining possession.
Yeah, and a two-man look from behind is pretty good. Oh,
and that shot by Jack Loving finds the back of the net. A beautiful shot by Loving.
Man, that angle had to have been slim to none, and he got that right over the goalie's shoulder. Left-handed goalie, that's probably the right placement. And, boy, that's a great shot by Mr. Loving, and good momentum now. Again, they're trying a new guy in there, number 20 for Woodgrove. No, they're down here on the other side. Mo Cariolo. Let's see how he does.
So Woodgrove mixing things up at the face-off X. They battle here for the ground ball. And
that could have been a loose ball hold, but the refs didn't see it. Now this is what they want. They want transition. Oh, man.
That shot by number 9, Kendall.
This is going to be Westfield ball again. Just not much hustle to the sidelines for Woodgrove. Those are easy possessions, and the best part is it's crossed the midfield line, so you don't even need to clear. But, boy, Woodgrove likes to run, and that was a good opportunity there. I can see why they want to push transition tonight because they looked good running.
Absolutely. One of the keys to the game that Coach Lewandowski talked to us about was trying to make things happen in transition, so you have to expect that Woodgrove.
Yeah. Look at these middies, man. They are 5 to 8 yards outside the box, and they're just keeping it spread. I guess they feel like they might be able to get a step on some defenders and bang it to the help side. There's one right there. He's got to pass
Rogers.
that. Good. One more, and they got – all right, well, that still works. But you got to get rid of that sooner, man. He had number 5 streaking with the lefty rip. But they'll see it next time, I'm sure.
So Westfield still with possession, trying to get their first goal of the day. Connor Rogers, left side. Will hand off back up top to John Woodward.
Yep, nice play. That's why you have your stick up in passing lanes. You can't allow teams to just move the ball in the perimeter if you want to be an effective defense.
Nice defensive play by Panaleo.
Yep, and now, tough play there. Loving was open, but he's got to move to the ball there so he doesn't get checked as he's catching the ball.
Petrillo coming up with that ground ball.
Yep, again, they're an easy clear. And that, again, when you have a freshman and 2 sophomores, nice look. Ooh, that could be, nope, they didn't call it. Ball down. But when you have those easy clears, when you have 2 sophomores and a freshman with long sticks, that's really going to help morale for the clearing game tonight.
Another battle for the loose ball.
Off blue, so that's going to be white ball. Now, it will be interesting to see, will Westfield still keep it spread when they're coming from X? They had a cutter there. The Woodgrove defense didn't see them. Again, they're so spread out. This is very, very good to create opportunities. Ooh,
Rogers,
nice
left hand, stopped by Reynolds.
I'm not sure if that was Piper or save, but, man, that ball came out quick. Again, there's a little hustle to the sideline by Woodgrove, and they get the possession now. Interesting that so many balls are flying out to the sideline. Normally you see them at the end line. You know, they really just must be cranking the ball hard to be getting the 30 yards to the boundary.
5 minutes,
right.
3
See,
seconds.
this guy probably needs to pass it unless he's got some wheels, but he's got help back. Well, and he could have got a slash there. Referees don't like that little cheap slash as you buy them. But go all the way, man.
Jeremy Kendall with the shot goes long.
Again, he's got to move it. Again, two-man game from behind is nice. There's not many teams that move the ball as well as Woodgrove, and that's a great shot.
Sam Weber with the shot, the captain, the 11th goal of the season for Sam Weber.
Yep, and again, he's about 25 yards or maybe 15 yards away when he rips that shot, and that was stick side, but you know, when it's coming from behind, the goalie probably didn't even see it.
I think one thing you have to say is these shots that Woodgrove has made so far, these have been tough shots that the Wolverines have converted against Overby.
Not many coaches would be pleased with guys ripping them, but when they're going in and they get the ball right back, possibly interference. Yep, loose ball push. That's too bad. See, this is a nice opportunity for Westfield. Let's see if this guy dumps it. No need to.
Shot by number 24, Cody Grimes with the goal for Westfield.
You know, and sometimes when you're down 3-0, it just take a matter of getting one of your seniors, his last time playing on this field in the regular season, and you get the ball in your stick, you're going. You could pass, and you might get an assist, but you need something to happen now, and boy, he just did. Good job by Cody.
But the story at the Face-Off X tonight so far has been Woodgrove.
Yeah, Kyle Riley, man, a sophomore. He's going to give people nightmares for the next 2 years.
Riley's still battling for it. Woodgrove coming up with it.
Yep, he's got to either get rid of that or roll back away from pressure and move it to the help side of the field rather than continuing into traffic. Yeah, coach called timeout. That was pretty smart. That was probably right around the 10-second call. Problem is, though, they're on the wrong side of the midfield line, so Westfield should be able to set up their on-ride and hopefully get a turnover.
Really nice hustle by a lot of the blue jerseys there. It seemed like converging on the loose ball, coming up with it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're getting the goals to go, everyone wants to get a piece of it, so go ahead.
And while we have this break in the action, we want to give special thanks to our sponsor, Dark Graphics, Screen Printing and Embroidery, who provide spirit packs for teams, class shirts, and group sales with original designs. Serving Northern Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. for 15 years, Dark Graphics specializes in school and business apparel. Design your own custom shirts and apparel at www.darkgraphics.com. So with 4 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in this first quarter, it's Woodgrove 3, Westfield 1, and we've talked so much about it, Coach, but it really has just been a shooting free-for-all.
It has been.
I
think Westfield has maybe had the balls in a settled offense for less than 2 minutes in the 8 minutes approximate that have gone by. But, you know, they're only down by 2 if they can just hang on for these last 4:13 and get their heavy lifters back in for the second, third, and fourth quarter. That'll give a nice team boost. Oh, see, this is I don't know what maybe they were there when they called timeout, but yeah, look at the coach from Westfield is upset. It should have been back 5 yards, and I agree with him. But again, good setup here. Again, like I said earlier, there's not many teams that move the ball as well as Woodgrove. They got to make sure now that they get a good quality possession off of this. Changing sides of the field, they should have a back cutter now. Boy, they certainly are moving off ball pretty well. Westfield needs to keep their heads on swivel if they're going to be able to hang with it.
Another shot by Sears, the save by Overby.
Yep, and that stick side low, which is an easy save. He was turning. That could have been a push in the back. Nice look to the crease. Bang that. Oh, another pipe.
McCarthy with the shot that time for Woodgrove.
Man, you know, he is good on the crease, boy. I can see why he has 4 or 5 goals every game. All right, a little fast break here. Probably don't want to throw to that guy. Nice cut.
Nice cut.
Finish. Oh, in the crease, too. You know, it's tough when you're coming down the field like that. You want to make a good decision with the ball. But that attackman was covered. He probably wanted to change sides of the field, go low to the corner man, or just take it himself, especially since the first one went with Cody. But they'll work on it in practice, and they'll get it together for next week.
Jeremy Kendall with possession for Woodgrove.
All right, here we go. Again, looks like they're going to stick with this. Deuces, a 2-2-2 look. Oop, forgot something. Nice ground ball. Oh, you got to finish that. Get it the first time. Nobody knows where the ball is. Good hustle. I like that from number 33.
Battle here for the ground ball.
Kyle Petrillo. Nice job by Kyle Petrillo. Sophomore making it happen for his seniors.
And
Again,
just heartbreaking right there.
Yeah, but they got it. They got it. You know, Woodgrove's D, for whatever reason, they're not pushing out on them. So, you know, if there is a little trouble in the hash marks, you know, I think Woodgrove will just concede it rather than give up a possible numbers situation and a slam dunk for somebody on the help side. Oh, boy.
And Westfield, as you said, really hasn't had a lot of time of possession. They haven't had a lot of good looks on goal. That one shot by Cody Grimes, really their best opportunity that did result in a goal.
Well, it looks like Woodgrove is going to be trying a zone defense for the rest of this quarter, and that's probably a pretty good move, you know, until Westfield starts beating them with the dodge. But got to start handling the ball better for both teams. Just a little case of who wants it. Waiting around for somebody else to make the play when all you got to do is get your backhand down, get your nose down and scoop. But, again, another opportunity for Westfield. Woodgrove's got that nice. Again, they're not trying many stick checks, play with the body, position. That could work until, like I said, until they start getting beat off the dodge with some of these quicker Westfield offensive players. Nice skip pass there, and that's you got to keep that ball moving.
Westfield showing a lot of patience. This is Alston Cock from behind the goal. Two Woodgrove players coming over to pressure, and Westfield will reset the offense.
Yep, and they got about a minute 23, so they could just keep it down here and work for a great shot and try to end the quarter 3-2.
Nice look inside. Look. However,
Boy,
Jin Yoon could not finish for Westfield.
Is that what you said, right?
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds. Holy smoke. That's a big play right there. You got a guy coming from straight down the middle right at you. And you get your stick out and make the stuff. Good stuff.
And Reynolds
right now they
coming out of the goal for the clear. A lot of youth for Woodgrove. Their backup goalkeeper, only a sophomore.
They got about 45 seconds. Again, they're probably going to wait for the last shot. But, man, if number 8's open on the crease, I would get it to him because he has certainly had about 4 or 5 shots ready to go.
Matt
good
Sears
hold.
with
That's
possession.
The boy. There's Linker making plays with the big stick in the hole. That's good stuff by him. Welcome back.
Of course, he is a big, tall player. He's very aggressive, plays both hockey and lacrosse, and plans to continue with both.
Wow, that's exciting.
And another goal, that one by Sam Weber, his second of the day.
Yep, and again, the body language of the Woodgrove players right now, anytime you score with under a minute to go, especially the way their face-off guy, Kyle Riley's going, that really just deflates a team because, you know, you were going to go into the break at 3-1, and then with 19 seconds to go, they get one. They got to make a stop here, or better yet, get one of their own and get the momentum back going into the second quarter.
And, of course, Kyle Riley back at the face-off X where he has been very impressive.
Nice job by the Westfield. Oh, that should have been a push, but, it was play on.
Andrew Kim coming up with the win for Westfield.
8 seconds. Oh. Unfortunate that he dropped it. They don't even need to clear it.
Nice hustle by David
Well,
Fisher.
1.6 seconds now. It'll be interesting. They could get a shot off. Number 4 is going to have to chuck it right in there to 11 as soon as the whistle blows. I would take all my players if I was Westfield and put them on the crease just so you can get something going because you do not want them. Oh, there it is.
The cutter number 31, Drew Magnuson, not able to convert. And at the end of the first quarter, it is Woodgrove 4, Westfield 1. We have seen a lot of offense out of the Woodgrove Wolverines, a lot of shots and some very impressive plays by number 8, Kellen McCarthy.
And you know what, though? I'm very impressed with Westfield. They must have a set call when they're short time to do that. That looked like a set play. The whole team knew what was going on, and that's a credit to the Westfield coaching staff to have their guys ready. If that just been a hair lower, it might have scored it in, and, boy, that would have been a backbreaker for Woodgrove. But, again, 4-1. This is a score that if you're on the other end of the side, you still feel like you got a shot. You know, you get a 1 or 2, make things interesting. You got your best face-off guy coming back. You got your starting goalie coming in. You got some fresh legs at the midfield, and hopefully they'll have an answer.
So we've talked about it. Westfield, we do expect to see Tucker Winfrey back out on the field, Jake Catchmark, and Nick Magnuson, the 3 players that were not starting tonight because of that team infraction.